We flip properties to feed our family. They depending on me. They depending on me. Yeah. We flip properties to feed our family. They depending on me.
Welcome to Financial Freedom Fighter. We have some beautiful guests today, some great entrepreneurs. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, man?
Good. So, y'all know here, we like to focus on why you started your journey to financial freedom. I mean, in every family, right? You know, with somebody that breaks that barrier, you know, change the family tree, that branch that sticks out further enough to help people really make things happen, right? Sometimes you have predecessors, but a lot of times nobody did that. And we all after it, just like in a day and time, we all fought for women's liberations and even our own liberation, right? And I think now in 2020s, everybody, that last mark, and not that last mark, is always going to be a new one, but where everybody's focused on that financial freedom. They don't want to be a slave to a job. They don't want to be a slave to anybody. And I think that's the last liberation right now, or the liberation we on. So I got some very smart, intelligent brothers here that's starting a business, and I want to ask them a few questions, as y'all know we do. So we're going to keep it real light. We're going to have some fun in here, but y'all going to learn a whole lot of stuff. So the first thing that I always start off by asking everybody is, what sparked your journey to become a financial freedom fighter, as I call it, just being that fight, which is, like Nipsey say, you know, it's a marathon. That's why I say it's an ongoing thing to go there. And I'll start with you, Gabbana.
Absolutely. Well, myself.
Oh yeah, introduce yourself. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah.
Absolutely. So my name is Gabbana. This is my business partner,
Khalil, Mr. Residuals Jackson.
and of course this is one of our recording artists,
Tony
Cinque there. And yeah, we decided to become, you know, financial freedom fighters about 8 years ago in 2013.
Okay.
And yeah, we recognized that our community, you know, they needed us, long story short. So our company is called Go Believe. We initially started off in LLC in 2013. And then once in 2018, we morphed also into a 501c3, which is a nonprofit.
Right.
So yeah, and then also finally we started our own record label since we, you know, consistently are dealing and coaching artists. And that record label, of course, is another company called Music of the Covenant.
Okay. Beautiful. Can you guys tell me a little bit about some of the things? Well, actually, before I hop into that, I want you to speak, and I want you to speak as well, because I understand that you guys came together, right? But you guys all have different pieces that you bring to the table, right?
Absolutely.
So I've actually known this man prior to meeting you guys, and I know my audience wants to hear it, but I want to hear actually more from you personally. I want to be a little selfish. So, you know, what do you bring to the team and that basically accentuates what you guys are trying to do for that chase of financial freedom? You know what I mean? Because everybody complements each other. You need a team.
Okay, so what I believe I bring to the team is the belief factor. So me as a youth, my dad had me knocking on people's doors selling gold chains for $1 while I was like in kindergarten. Then my dad left when I was 11, and I had to help start paying bills, so I started selling candy and started selling CDs and DVDs legally.
Right.
During school to help start earning some extra income and start buying my own groceries and stuff since 11. So me and Gabbana as a youth, we used to always come together and create groups for things that we knew people needed. Like we started clubs inside school because we knew each other since kindergarten.
What school?
Allegedly.
Thomas Smith. No, because he don't want to believe we knew each other since kindergarten. Because in kindergarten we was in the same class. I drove him home on his birthday.
Okay. In kindergarten you drove home?
That's what I
Well,
said.
my mom.
That's exactly what I said.
He's in my car, so I drove him home. I can't say no, mom. He can't get in the car.
Right. Yeah, I got friends just like that. No, I got that.
Cat.
So I drove him home, cause I can't say no, mom. I don't mess with that skinny guy.
Right.
But I was like, he cool, mom. Plus he gonna give me an extra slice of cake and we ride home with it. So that's what we did. But we started groups inside school, like helping out with the NTAs and doing different things inside the school. So we started business together, and I always had a belief factor because, you know, I had some situations in my life where people would talk down to me, and one of my biggest influencers told me, "Don't worry about them; they just stupid." I was like, why do you say they were stupid? So I started really looking at the world in a different way because I started analyzing everything. And now my belief system that we're supposed to be greater than what people put into us has grown because as a youth, that person put the belief system in me that, hey, you're greater than that person, and it made me start looking at other people saying, why would he say that, and start analyzing. So my belief factor in myself and my abilities, because whenever I apply myself to something, I'm able to accomplish a lot, even things that I wasn't supposed to accomplish.
Right.
So it's like, I just bring the belief factor. So
Right. Beautiful,
from
beautiful.
all my experiences.
And how about you? And before I even ask you, I'd like to piggyback on what you guys said and some of the things that you guys already brought up. We're a big believer at Entrepreneur Direct and also Financial Freedom Fighters is that you have a gift, a talent, or a skill, right? It starts with those three things, and you just want to learn how to make a business out of it. And that's the beginning kind of starting your financial freedom, right? It usually sparks from different things. So obviously as a musician, you have a gift, right? You have a talent. And now the level is creating that business around it, which these gentlemen come into play, and your financial freedom success is starting to work. So introduce yourself. I think he said your name, but tell us what sparked you to kind of want to do something out the normal, and not even music, but just out the normal as far as building with a business, right? Because most rappers in their basement, they BSing, they don't have two people that's businessmen that's working with them and trying to grow. And this is the second time I've met you, and you're with the business people all the time, and that's big because it's usually a separation. You get what I'm saying? So I commend you for that. And why'd you start that?
Well, because first thing, I started my music journey about 6 years ago, and it was just something that I just subconsciously always wanted to do, but never had the guts to do it.
Got you.
Just because of the people around me, basically.
Got you.
Like, cause I basically grew up around like all players, I guess kind of street guys. But
Got you. Right.
never no musicians.
Right. Got you.
So, anytime I ever, and I only probably brought it up about twice, but every time it got brought up, it got shut down. So it just was never a thought in my brain to ever try to excel with it when I was younger.
Right.
But then, after I met one of my group members, he kind of opened my eyes to it. And then, like, after, it was only him that, like, his influence was, like, a strong part of me starting to make music.
Got you.
So, like, after I met him, we kind of just took off with it. And then after that, it was like, I had a feeling I should have been doing this for a minute.
Right. You had
It
the
was
courage.
it was that feeling. So I was like, all right, cool.
Okay.
So, took off with it. And then I met these guys. I met him first through another friend. And then, we ended up meeting Khalil. And, it just was like, they kind of like older brothers. To be honest with you.
Beautiful.
Like two older brothers. So it was like, I trust their judgment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Trust their leadership. And it just was like, I just, admire them as people. So
Got you.
that's where it started.
That's a beautiful thing, and then I noticed a couple things that you guys said there. One, I get the name. Like, it seems like you guys all came together off of belief. You know what I mean? Like, you guys kind of reiterate that within one another. You know what I mean? Because we understand as entrepreneurs, all of us get down. You have trials and tribulations in life. Whole bunch of people that don't believe you, and that's like literally the majority.
Right.
Because no one can see what you see, right? No one can understand a vision that they don't have, right? And as they start seeing it, as it comes together, of course they want to start jumping on, but you got to excuse some of them because obviously you can't see your vision, right? But there is a selective few, right? And if you guys are able to stick it out and put those elements together, those components together to become successful, you'll definitely become successful because it's really starting with that belief, that faith, and obviously that hard work. Right, so I commend you guys. I see why you guys are together, and then also the mentorship. You know what I mean? I have to commend you on that as well because it's very important and very powerful to be able to trust somebody. You're supposed to do your due diligence, but you need it. So people get frustrated, they get upset. Oh, well, I don't want to trust anybody. Well, you're not going to become successful.
All right.
You have to start figuring out who to trust. Right. That's the game. Some people get so hurt or been taken advantage of or not in the right situation or been around the wrong people all this time that when they come across the right person, they missing the boat.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And I can attest for this man already because I've seen him being consistent. It's always been Go Believe. Even when I had the circle, believe it or not, I was into the music thing, had the studio and all that stuff like that. People that followed me way before. Shout out to Sad, Mel, Astro, all these people that actually still doing great music. But I had those individuals, and I understood that number one, he sticks by his people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And you attract who you are. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't get that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I want a better girl. Well, you gotta change who you are, bro.
Yeah, better, right.
To be honest, because you literally attracting what you are.
Right.
So if you guys came together, it's for a reason. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even though y'all have subtle differences, obviously, because you're individuals, the big part, I believe that is congruent between all you guys. So I applaud you guys for that. So
Appreciate that.
absolutely. So I want to ask you guys, what challenges at this point, and even before that, what are your main goals? Like, a lot of times when we on this journey for financial freedom, we got big visions, especially if you're a visionary, right? And what I've been learning a lot lately is targeting, narrowing it down, creating really unique situations, and then building up from there, right? I kind of talked to you guys about that the other day, right? When we had a nonchalant conversation that turned into a whole thing. But it's narrowing down, because as a visionary, and I've took a test for this. I have my business partners, Dr. Porter, executive director of Entrepreneur Direct, and executive director of American Grant Writers Association, but he's my partner in Entrepreneur Direct, and he created a test. But I took the DISC test and stuff like that, and I am a visionary. I'm not a CEO, even though I am a CEO technically, right? And they're two different people. So it's like the owner of Virgin Records, I forget his name, but he's a visionary. He's a founder. I'm a founder. CEOs use the time a founder hires from Harvard that graduated in business administration or business stuff like that. They're very certain type of brain. You get what I'm saying? Doesn't take away from what I am, but one thing that is not as good that a founder doesn't do is I had to learn really how to narrow things down, not keep thinking so big and just saying, I'm gonna focus on this one thing right here. And that's how you build the whole vision. Absolutely. Somebody has to have a vision, but it's departments and stuff like that. So, how about you guys?
Absolutely. So, Go Believe, our mission is we use apparel and entertainment to empower young adults.
Okay.
So, I'm sure you know, entertainment is very broad and apparel can be very broad.
Right.
So, we had to narrow it down with who we are.
Right.
We're all about giving back. Even with our record label, the only group that we have besides myself is an artist, but to know their brand is to know.
To know.
You know, we're educators at heart.
Right.
So our target market, we're constantly in schools, whether it's the apparel, whether it's entertainment, whether it's doing a stage play we wrote called Karma 101 that helps boost the college retention rate, or whether it's us performing our music to knows music about things that young adults should know.
Right.
You know, you guys were just listening to my song the other day called Assets.
Right.
Because people have to have assets.
Yeah.
You follow me? So yeah, it's all about narrowing it down to what's going to educate and what's going to empower people. Our clothes, which I have on, always wear our stuff.
Beautiful.
Go Believe. I don't know if you can see the logo.
Yeah, absolutely.
But subconsciously, people seeing a t-shirt or a hoodie that says I'm a believer or Go Believe, that's a call to action.
Yeah.
You follow me? So our goal is to always empower our community, our believers, as we call our supporters.
Yep.
So yeah, man, that's what it's all about.
You got anything to say about that?
No. When we say believers, it just takes me back to how long we've been doing it, because when we was like believers, it's like, oh, you with the believers? It's like, no. We didn't get caught up with him, but yeah.
Shout out Justin.
Shout out Justin, that's my man. So, but yeah, our goal is always to empower. Like one of my mentors taught us before, like you can't have your cup overflowing. And me and Go, we're like knowledge seekers, so we learn a lot, and it's our job to give that back, because when we were growing up, I know I've been tutoring people since like 7th grade, so we always had like mentors that poured into us and took us out of our situations that we were put into.
Right.
So it's like it's our job to give back to the next generation, because everyone's always saying these kids are crazy nowadays, these kids are this and that, but they're not doing anything to fix the problem.
Right.
So it's our job to fix the problem. That's why we focus on the youth, because we know it builds up from there.
Right.
Because while they're saying these kids crazy, I'm dealing with the crazy kids, and I see that they crazy because those people not teaching them.
Right. Right.
So we're helping get rid of some of the crazy and start focusing it on growth and hopefully building new leaders within whatever we do. Because when we're empowering, like through our internship programs, when we go talk at schools, we focus on not creating a bunch of followers, but become creating a bunch of leaders, so that they can go out there and start empowering and doing things into the community as well. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
And one thing that resonates with me, and I like that I interview people like that. It means I'm on the right path. Is that you're perfectly passionate line right along with your business. It feels like you guys are a reflection of what you stand for. It's not just gimmicky. Obviously, you need to make a living off things, but it's literally something that came from your heart, skill, gift, talent, and something you care about, and it's a whole backdrop to it. I want to find out more about karma. That's what it's called, right? How did that come together? And I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, I know this guy prior to that. You know, and I used to take breaks on social media and come back and do certain things, but I always try to keep tabs on certain people. He's one of them. So I was like, what's cool? I would type in. It's not people's name I type in, but people that come more than celebrities. I type in somebody that I come across and I want to know if they win. Like it's one of the weird things with me. I don't want to know that they lose because I know that life happens, right? But I always want, like that was one of the moments. Like I didn't know if you were making money off of it. I didn't know how successful it was. I saw stage play. I saw you up there with suspenders. Wasn't it? Had the suspenders on. I remember that. It's like stage play. I'm going on tour. I'm hitting the schools. I'm like, let's go. So tell me a little bit more about that because I was kind of looking from the back. I was looking from the back, and I don't know the insights because we weren't talking at that time. Like I couldn't catch up with you. So I would love to hear about that now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Karma 101. The full name is Karma 101. If y'all want to look it up. But the point of Karma 101 is to help boost the college retention rate.
Okay.
So it takes 8 students from various walks of life and the trials and tribulations they go through both socially and academically while living on campus.
Okay.
And Karma, hence the name, you know, a lot of kids go there doing certain things, but unless their mindset is the right way, it's going to come back and bite them on the ass.
Right, right.
So, you know, when we created Karma 101, we recognized within our community, a lot of friends were going off to college, but most of them, as Khalil says, they were coming back with a receipt as opposed to a degree.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, and we realized that that's when a lot of people's life path, you know, it may have been bright before, but that's when they, you know, start maybe going back to working dead-end jobs, or, you know, some of our female friends, they may get pregnant, and then, you know, it kind of throws them off.
Right.
You follow me?
They don't know how to adjust.
They don't know how to adjust, exactly. So, you know, luckily Karma 101, you know, was able to show students what really goes on in campus. Huge appreciation to all the school districts, well, the school district in Philadelphia. We toured multiple, like almost every high school in Philly.
Okay.
We won an award at the Multicultural Program of the Year award with Penn State.
Okay.
You know, Jefferson University, Lock Haven, overnight tours, like, you know, we enjoyed it. And of course, been on the news as well.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
So, who set that up? Like who? Because I understand what a lot of entrepreneurs need to understand is it's entertainment and there's business, right? The two have to merge. They have to make a great relationship, right? And as guys, I was talking before, I think it's majority business. So once you guys had the vision, once you had the creativity, once you put it together, had the work to put it together, how'd you guys start talking to schools? Like, how did you guys start reaching out to people? And it seemed like he got a big smile on his face. He's like, the guy with the suit on, he knew. All right, what's going on?
Always gotta have a guy with the suit on.
Yeah, always gotta have a guy with the suit on.
So we saw that what we were creating was good because originally it was a way that Obama, he was putting out his music, we started doing that, like making the mixtape through that. So, and then we saw the people that came to the show really was digging it and learning from it. So we like, yo, we need to bring it out to people because we was inviting schools to the performance when we were having it on the Avenue of the Arts at Suzanne Roberts or at
Prince Music Theater.
Prince Music Theater. It changed its name now. And
now, quick question: was that when you guys did the Prince Music? Was that volunteering? Was that just going out there? when you guys did that initially?
We did it as an award show initially,
Yeah.
along with our award show for our radio show we used to host.
The only reason I stopped y'all there is because a lot of people don't put that. You got to put something out there sometimes for nothing. You get what I'm saying? To get the attention and let people know that you got some shit here. You get what I'm saying?
And we had to, like, literally rent the theater down the Avenue of the Arts.
Yeah, bring all that in. Yeah, because people think you
exactly.
don't have to put yourself out there and take a risk and sacrifice things. You set all this up, did all this stuff, and y'all want to get paid for y'all hard work, but it's like, we ain't there yet, so we need to get it. If we believe in our product that much that if people hear it, or it's like a cupcake, if people taste this joint, they go on, I'm going to give 12 free samples. I don't want to bring the crack up at them go, but you know, people used to give out samples of drugs because they knew they would get addicted. So if you know you got that dope, then you should get. I just want to put that out there. Go ahead.
And we definitely did give out some samples. We donated it to some.
Yeah, y'all had some dope.
We definitely did give out some samples to some schools that we know really needed it and couldn't afford it, but we knew that our demographics there really needed it.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the play. We saw that it was having an impact. So then we started going to the schools, marketing to the schools, and it was fun. Like, that's the fun part. I love talking to people,
Right.
and being in sales. So it was fun for us to actually call up the schools, cold call the schools, get referrals, go to schools, let them know that we had an interview set up that they didn't confirm with us, so they need to let us talk to the leader. They're like, oh, I'm sorry we didn't do this, and I ain't gonna give the sauce, but some of them we didn't really have an interview set up.
believe that.
But we let them know that we did, because in our mind we believe we did, and we believe we should, so we let them know.
Yeah,
We let them know. We let them know we set up an interview, and then that led us to speak to people, get inside them schools, and actually let them know what we had going on, let them know our track record, how we've been helping people. And even when it started, it's like we had a track record already of helping people because he was already a high school teacher. He already helped a bunch of students. I already was teaching for a while, so I already helped a bunch of students. So it's like we already are people that help students, and y'all need to let us in so we can help your students.
Absolutely.
So that was.
And it's sad that sometimes you kind of have to and I'm sure you know within our culture, sometimes you may have to trick someone into helping someone.
Right.
You know, like a lot of times, like I'm sure you try to help people all the time, and the information just whatever.
Yeah.
You follow me? But unless you like put it smack in front of them and be like, yo, your kids are dropping out at this rate, and you know, we're trying to save the community here, and then it's like, okay, all right, cool.
And it's crazy the pushback that you get because we come with the stats. We like, yeah, we want to help out your school. They're like, oh, our school cool. And we like, well, your retention rate is this. You spend this much. We only charge you this much. So you do need help. And we say it in a professional way. And they're like, no, we don't need help. And it's like, you're literally destroying people's lives by not letting us come in here and help.
That's beautiful because one thing y'all said is y'all did y'all due diligence. Y'all were prepared. Y'all identified the problem. And that's entrepreneurship. We are problem solvers. Identify the problem and then create the easiest way to solve it, or a very solid way to solve it, or entertaining way to solve it. However way is, you do it and you solve it. So you have to bring that problem to the forefront because a lot of people don't realize they have that problem. I've been studying some things and they call it like latent problems, I believe, and it's just stuff that people don't really see as of yet. So for example, they always use the example of the iPhone. Like, you couldn't come out with the iPhone and say, you need this level camera in your pocket, you need GPS, you need to find out where your local restaurant is when you're in Houston or you don't. You couldn't sell that as of yet. Now they can't live without it. They even use it social media, like it would be good that you know that your crush was single, right? No one knew that though with social media that this was gonna handle that for you, right? But now they be like, well, why you ain't update your status? A girl will ask you that in a second, won't you? Right? That's very important, right? But you can't sell to a business saying, you know, people gonna really want to know other people's business all the time, all day. Like, yeah, man, they want to know if you're single, they want to know if you're together, they want to know if it's complicated. They gonna want to know, you can't sell that as of yet. And you guys, once again, were the visionaries, but also what you did was you got research to back up what you were saying and come there where it was undeniable, and you had a way to fix it already.
My favorite quote dealing with what you were just talking about, I usually say it to our interns as they come in, because you solve a problem to something that people didn't know they had. so that they didn't know they need. And I like to talk about Henry Ford. Henry Ford said, if I asked people what they wanted, they would have told me faster horses.
Right.
But he built cars.
Exactly.
And now everyone drives the cars. Like, he literally changed the way that our world drives through the world. Only rich people could afford cars back then. And he made it possible for the poor man to afford cars. And because he made it possible for them to afford cars, they started covering all the roads with, you know, the asphalt so that we could drive on it. All because he didn't make faster horses for people. He just made a car and said, y'all need this.
Right, absolutely. I love that. I love that. That was a great gem. So how do you guys overcome setbacks? Like, you guys' motto is go believe, right? But you guys humans, I see y'all right here in front of me, right? Things happen in life, stuff like that. How are you resilient, right? How do you bounce back when things aren't going your way? And you can give me a particular story that where something didn't work out the way y'all wanted to, and y'all put a lot of energy to it. I got a bunch of them, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know. But then I keep pushing forward, and something even 2 times, 10 times better happen.
Yeah. Right. So we look at things as, like we said, belief. So we believe in what we're doing it for. So anything that comes against it is just one of our stepping stones to get past it. Because I heard the saying that rocket ship going to the moon is off course 97% of the time, but it got to constantly make adjustments. And that's what we do. We constantly make adjustments. We had a situation where we're going out and and it was a setback that tried to put us back behind what we were doing. We already were a couple plays in. We already was doing what we were doing, and we went to a place to see if we could do it there and get some money to help out with it. And the lady was talking to us. She said, "Yeah, so did you guys go to college? I'll help you get through it and go." He was like, "I went through college. I didn't complete it, but I started college." And I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't go to college. I went straight into the work field for us afterwards. I union construction worker. So it's like I went into the workforce." And she's like, "Well, if you guys didn't go to college, how you feel like you guys have the right to teach kids about getting through college?" And she's like, "Yeah, so I'm not going to help you guys out because you guys are basically lying to people because y'all don't know the experience of college." And we're like, "Wait up." We're like, we already helped a couple students. And then what we had to learn though was, well, even though neither one of us went through college, we got stories from all our peers that went through college that told us why they fell. And that's what we're putting into there. Along with the people, our other partner that we were working with at the time, she was a teacher and she actually went to college and she helped kids get into college. So it's like we had someone on our team that knew everything too, that was helping guide us too. And I'm like, even though we didn't go through college, we know how to finish things. Like, I'm a completer. That's what we do. We finish things, and that's what we're teaching people, how to finish what they started. So that was something that almost knocked us out our belief because, there were thoughts of, dang, maybe I should go back to school. Maybe I should do this. And it's like, no. It's like, no. Because if we go to school, now after her saying that, that's 2, 3, 4 years that we're taking away from the students that we could have been helping get through school. For one person to get through school, it's like, no. Thousands going to get through it because we're going to show them how to do it.
Absolutely. I'd like to add to that because I wish I would have met this lady. I was part of this meeting because I would have had a lot of stuff to say to her. Because at the end of the day, like, college doesn't work. That's why, man. And we're trying to make college work a little better. Even though let's off the record, we could say it's bullshit, but at the end of the day, like, we're trying to help your retention rate. So it's like, if you got a business, I'm not going to tell you what business you in the college business. Our job is to come here and help it be a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm cleaning the whole building and people come here because it's spotless and know how they're treated, I ain't have to go to college for that. I'm here to make your business a little better. Your business is college. I don't have to participate in your business to be good at what I'm implementing to your business. She talking about you gotta go to college. What should I major in? What? Talking to y'all? What class do they have to do what we doing? Or y'all be able to do it? You know what I'm like? Yeah, people crazy as shit, yo.
And that's why I was trying to let her know. Like, even though, like, because I try to keep it as clear as possible, but I fully don't believe in the college system. I don't fully agree with the college system, but I believe in the education system.
Exactly.
So it's like, I'm about educating. College is the biggest thing in education for most people because they've been, bred to learn that that's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe in education. So if you're going to college or if you're not going to college, you're just going to entrepreneurship. That's why when we have interns come in for our company, they're in college, but we teach them about entrepreneurship.
Right.
Because it's like if you're in college and they're not teaching you these skills on how to market yourself, brand yourself, and do all these other things, you're going to learn it here so that if your college degree doesn't get you a job by itself, your skill set that we gave you during our internship will make you more hireable.
Right.
So
That's powerful, man. That's powerful. And I actually get that. I get how that could have kind of put you guys astray somewhat because it is. I mean, I'm confident in how I talk and stuff like that, but I get this being your whole business and somebody that's a gatekeeper, so to speak, in that specific area. Like, no, y'all not one of us, so to speak. So why should y'all be talking about it? And I get why you would think, because multiple times, I use me for example, whether it's my real estate business or entrepreneurship, I was never good in school.
Right.
D's and C's, like that's it. Like, but as soon as I got out of school, all the people that was good at school, they wasn't making the money I was making. I was always good at making money. I could always get to a bag, as they say, and I flourished more. I was more of a networker. I was more of a people person. I didn't like being in the damn room all the time. I like the side talk, and my side talking got me money, and I was funny, and I was good at analogies and explaining things to people, and telling stories and creating things. So none of that shined at elementary, middle school, stuff like that. It shined in popularity,
right.
but I understood how to make a business out of it later, and with so many people because I was, as I used to say, not polished. I was not polished, so I had to learn not to say, yeah, I mean, as I'm talking, I'm irritating myself. I had to learn to pause and take strategic pauses and think, but also be able to speak well and use key terms and all this stuff like that. But before I got there, every time someone told me that you didn't do good in school, look how you're speaking, but I knew that I had something, right?
Absolutely.
I knew that I was effective. I knew that if I talked to somebody, whether they made better grades than me, anything like that, they was like this. Oh shoot, I ain't never looked at it like that, dang. And they'll go out there and they might have a degree and have a better opportunity than me and go out and make it happen. I know the jobs that I work for, that I help create six-figure people and millionaires and stuff like that. And I'm talking about leaning on me like, hey, what do you think about this? You run this company. Yeah, but I just wonder what you think about this. It's like, how you trying to tell me I don't have value?
Right.
Just because of the way I deliver it and how I dress and where I'm from and all this other stuff like that. But I did second guess myself at times and saying, hey, maybe I need to get a degree to back me, to prove that I know to do this. But then when I started talking to people with degrees and it wasn't happening for them, I said, well, y'all crazy. Y'all just trying to get me caught up in some system like you trying to get me locked up again. And I don't mess with that. Y'all somewhat of a cop.
What helped me completely understand, because shout out my business partner, like he was the one that said, F what she said.
Right.
Like
That's
he was
what's
the
up.
one, and like and she was definitely very animated. She was like how dare you tell kids to go to college?
Yeah, I'm sure she was.
She said, how dare you? And but then thinking about it, like
she benefits off that. Oh, I'm sorry. If somebody go to college more, she's in the college business. Where's the audacity come from? Go ahead. It's like, it's crazy.
So, but what helped me is, I grew up Christian. We live in, supposedly a Christian nation. And I realized that Jesus never had to go to hell to save you from it. And we never had to go to college to turn around someone else's life and to help them get into college and to help them learn about the Ward of the State program or get them financial aid or get them grants and get them just that education to survive 4 years on their own when they just had to raise their hand and go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah.
So like just because, and we did go to college for a little bit,
Right.
a lot of it was partying.
Yeah, when people ask me, I'm like, "What's college you went to?" Lincoln mostly.
Right. Yeah, mostly.
Exactly. So, just really putting that metaphor into perspective made me realize, listen, like, we can still make an impact even though we ourselves didn't walk through that path. Just like a lot of NBA coaches may not have played in the NBA, doesn't mean they don't understand the game.
Right.
Exactly.
Commentators, all that stuff like that. So number one, I'm glad that y'all didn't give up. Y'all set an example here. I'm glad we got to that story because I think it's so many people, and I think the story, the actual story, because everybody's story is different, of how somebody was trying to roadblock you or deter you from what your dream is. And sometimes it's somebody that could have easily just put all this belief in you. You get what I'm saying? Because the reason why y'all took it so hard because y'all thought she was credible. You get what I'm saying? She had to be somewhat educated, right?
Exactly.
In a certain degree,
Yeah.
but she don't know what y'all know. And I'm glad y'all had the belief system like, all right, she got that job, she understands college a lot, but she don't understand what we understand. That's what's gonna make us different.
And when she said it to me, I actually felt bad for her that she was stuck in that mindset.
Right.
Because my belief system already, because like Go said, I wasn't going to say it, but I never got with it. Because I came from mentors that said, I'd rather say, I is rich rather than I am broke.
Right.
And I'm like, you don't need that education. So it was like, I don't, like with her saying that to me, I'm like, what are you talking about? We can't do this. We already had people come up to us because we was already doing it for like a year or a year and a half by then. We already had people come to us like, yo, thank you for your program. Like, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I actually got through my first year because I didn't know that. So it's like, I already had people having success from it. So it's like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
We're telling you, we're showing you that we got value, and you're like telling us that we're wrong because you don't know. My brother like to say, I know what you know not. So it's like, this is something that you didn't know, and I'm bringing it to your forefront, and you're still turning this down because you want to be stuck in your make-believe world, and God knows, I always talk to people, I don't like arguing over imaginary things.
Right.
And her thought process was an imaginary thing to me at that time. I'm like, we're helping people. You can't help people. We are.
Yeah,
no,
we
you
are.
can't because I don't believe that. It's like, here go the people.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong
Yeah.
with you? So it was just a problem. It was like, yeah, I felt sorry, and that actually made me like when we had our talk afterwards. It's like, yeah, we definitely gotta help people because like, if that thought process is circling around, we gotta wash that up.
Exactly. Because there's other people that will believe her.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? And she's in a place where she's supposed to spark that type of thing.
Right.
You know what I
Speak
mean?
life, not speak
Yeah,
death.
exactly. And now you're needed more. So,
Yeah.
so I applaud you guys for that. So
Thank
the next question I have for you guys, because I know you guys have some questions for me. That's what this is about as well. I like to give answers to whatever they got, as well. But the last question I have: what's next for you guys? Like, what is the hurdle that, hey, once we jump over this joint, we on the next level or the next scale up, as we call it professionally, right?
Mm-hmm. So, okay, well, our next hurdle that we're doing is because y'all know our plays and everything was all in person. Like, we go talk to students in person, do everything in person. So we made an investment in ourselves to buy some of the best equipment out there and everything like that. And we're filming everything. We're making everything more digital so that we could reach more people. It's something that we've been talking about but need to start implementing.
Right.
And COVID hit and it's like, yeah, now we really got to implement it. So we're going more digital with things and we're getting more visual with our apparel because doing the education things, the apparel took the back burner. And now our apparel was being more out there. You see, you got the Go Believe hat on.
Okay.
We rocking the apparel more. I'm still working on.
Believe, I get it.
So,
See, you had to believe it.
and what's
Brandon.
crazy? And what's crazy with the believe? People usually get that. Now I gotta go into this story.
Okay.
So our leaf on the Go Believe is a raspberry leaf.
Okay.
So we use a raspberry leaf because raspberry leaves, as you guys may know, help nurture the growth of babies and pregnant women.
Did
So
not know
drink
that.
raspberry tea. So and the B in old literature stands for 2 levels of a house. So we put the B into the raspberry leaf to show that within our company we nurture a house of growth. So
I
back.
like that. I like that. Big
Layers.
I love that. I love that.
And it's usually green, so go. Here we go.
Exactly. Go believe.
Okay. Okay.
So, dang, I forgot what we were playing though. But
So you were saying the next hurdle.
the next hurdle is the digital,
and bringing the clothing.
and the clothing, so that we can start putting that belief back into people and letting people know, like, I can believe in myself. You look at yourself inside the mirror before going out into the world. You like, I'm a believer, so I believe I can accomplish anything I want.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely. And, as we're converting from strictly in person, to online, it's a couple things that we're doing.
Asbury, what's that? You said what was it?
Converting.
I'm sorry.
No, converting in person.
Oh, in person.
To more online
Okay,
business.
got you.
So, the music group, we consistently are putting shows online now.
Okay.
Like we just had a show where we performed for young adults out of the juvenile delinquent center.
Okay.
So that was literally last week or maybe the week before. We're also launching Go Tutor very, very soon, which is going to be an online tutoring platform.
Okay.
And also, education in multiple ways. So like, any ways technology. So from cryptocurrency to legal services, we want to expand because our fan base is growing up.
Right.
So it's just like a recording artist, like you have to grow up with your fan base.
Yeah.
So as our fan base is growing up, we aren't strictly just doing music and cool clothes, pop culture things, but we're doing more adult things, such as helping people get lawyers, helping people, invest and get cryptocurrency, since that's the way that the future is going.
Get their financial house put together so that they could grow at a constant rate of financial independence, so they don't have to worry about just basing their life on working 40 years just to be stressed out after they retire for 40 more years and they can't afford their bills.
I'm a big advocate of that. Very
Amen.
big, very big.
Amen.
All right, so what you guys got from me? I'll put my Forbes hat on as I do, and I'll give you that free consultation. So what questions that you guys have for me that I can answer?
So let's make this a universal question because, in case you don't know, his Instagram name is literally Mr. Residuals.
Okay.
Literally Mr. Residuals, and
Beautiful.
you're one of the few people that I know that are just strictly Mr. Residuals.
Yeah, I focus on that. Yes.
Follow.
Yes.
So with that being said, what is your top 3 ways of making residual income in today's 2021 crazy times?
Okay, and that's a great question. So, I'll put it broad. I can tell y'all what I specifically do, but it's really set up from my business. So every business that I create, I try to create a passive way of income. So no matter what it is, at the genesis of the business, I try to create 3 or 6 streams of passive income. So that's what I personally do. So, for example, everything has to be merch. So if Entrepreneur Direct is out, it has to have merch immediately. So that's one stream of income. The education is part 1. The consultant is 1, and then let's say content is another. So like say content, we work on with a team, YouTube, which big now, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, monetizing that, right? Where it becomes passive because you guys are well aware if you're doing it physically, it's not passive as of yet, right? Which is the same thing as residual. You know what I mean? Just doing something once and getting paid over and over and over again, right? So it's like a royalty, right? So I create those things, and you usually have passive investment or business passive. Business passive is individuals working for you. So your objective is when you start that business, focus on getting it up to a certain level. Then teach somebody how to do it and take only 30% of the money, 30 to 40% of the money. All right. Let them eat off the 60%, go off and create something new. Whether within that business or a new department in that business that can generate the same amount of income or a new business, right? So that's what I would suggest to you guys. I would say also as a residual, I'm big in real estate, so like that's my thing. So obviously investment property, right? But first, before you get the residual gain, invest in the education. Like you guys have said, it's big to find a mentor. Find somebody that understands where you're trying to go. Like, matter of fact, you asked me the other day, you said, if I had a certain amount of money, what should I do with it? And I'm like, well, if you have this amount of money, I would say most of it is in education, right? Put it in education, but make it targeted. Make sure that you know that this person can get you to that next stage. It's not about that person making you rich. It's not about that person being able to hit you at every stage, right? Because sooner or later you're going to need a CPA. I'm not an accountant. Sooner or later you're going to need an attorney, depending on what you're going through. Sooner or later you're going to need somebody. Like if in real estate, I'm embarking upon it now, but I've never been a developer. Even though I'm technically a developer, I've done stuff that you've done from the ground up. I've helped people with that. But as far as like a whole block, right? I've never done anything like that. So if you're saying like, I'm tired of doing one house at a time, It's this block that's da-da-da, I got a relationship in the city, you're gonna need a new mentor. Like, you know what I mean? I can give you a lot of stuff around that, but I'm saying, hey, this dude do blocks. Like, you know what I mean? This dude do ground up. This dude does buy and hold. This guy does the BRR. So I would say mentorship is very, very big in what you're doing and where you're putting your money at. So,
and that's why you have your online courses.
yes, absolutely. That's what I created online because you want to make money when you sleep, right? And your objective is your journey somebody needs. Period. Your journey, everything you're going through needs to be documented. You need to create a course on it because someone at your stage and your level is going to be like, how do you get here to here? Simple as that. Like, how do you get here from here? And it's not saying like, all right, I want to go to Miami one day. I got to get to the airport. Right? I got to get to the airport first. That person really good at getting me to the airport. Like, I'm not calling Delta to get me to the airport. I'm calling Delta to get me to Florida. I'm calling Uber, Lyft, da-da-da. They're very good. They have a business model on it. That's what they focus on. That's what they energy about. There's a lot of people that travel, so find that person and put that money towards the person that's going to get you from A to B. So like I said with the course, and I keep everything. I used to write it down, right? But now I put it in content. I have to put it in because of the time we're in. I can go upstairs and show you guys cases of books that I got ideas and visions, brand, everything, education, stuff like that. It doesn't mean no good there. Had to slowly start putting it in content because when you look at Instagram, social media, there's 15 seconds blocks, 30 second blocks, there's minute blocks and stuff like that. You need to be on all these platforms to get that attention. And then when you document your story, people believe in your story by seeing the things that you went through. Now they're willing to buy your course. And the course comes in where as though, all right, since I documented this, I put all this somewhere where you can get it. Now I could be asleep in, say, Amsterdam. 1 in the morning ain't 1 in the morning there. It's daytime. So now I can get something in my Stripe account. Excuse me, I almost forgot the name of it. I can get something in my Stripe account because that's what come through the courses and stuff like that. So now $100 there, $97 here, $197 there, and it's like I've already set this up. So now I can scale without reinvesting too much. Because now once I got people in there, it's about this course is there. It's gonna be a new entrepreneur, like you said. It's new people that come out every year, and you growing with your customer. It's somebody that came up from your customer is gonna need that too. Kids being born every day.
Yeah.
And then when you got the access with the internet, the powerful thing called the internet we take advantage of now because it's been around most of our lives now, is that you can solicit to somebody in Dublin, right? You can solicit to somebody in the United Kingdom. You can do all this stuff right in the comfort of your own home if you strategically set that up. So that's what I've been focusing on newly. Like I've always created passive income and focused on passive income through real estate because that was just how I got introduced to everything. But now in 2020, to answer your question, it's 2020 or 2021. Yeah, glad that year's over.
Right.
So 2021, I would say still real estate. I would say document and educate, but do it in a unique way. Do it in a unique way and do it everywhere. Don't just limit yourself to Philadelphia. Don't just limit yourself to the United States. Don't just limit. It's people that need your message everywhere, and with the internet, you can do that. And then I would say, thirdly, as far as residual, which I don't have a lot of experience in, but I'm just letting you guys know now that I'm embarking upon it, and probably in the next year and a half, 2 years, I will have a lot of experience in it. In 3 years, I have a course on it. But it's called God's money, right? Because we are in a place right now that we are not the fiat money that we're using right now is not going to be around, right? So George Washington and all this money, it's already lost its value, right? It was backed by gold a long time ago. I got a whole YouTube thing about it, but it hasn't been backed, right? And because of that, you've seen in 2020 them giving money away like it's nothing. Like everybody in the project had $10,000. Like unemployment, SBA was giving money out. Small Business Administration giving crazy loans out. Not seeing your financials, not seeing nothing like that, right? You could open up an LLC and you was getting $10,000. Some of them was getting $40,000 they could prove a little bit more. Some people getting 6 figures. Be excited about it, but that's not America. That's not, you don't just give money away.
American, right?
Money has value. Anything with value, you don't give away, right? So is this going to be around, right? So I don't know as much about blockchain and cryptocurrency, so I already know that it stands the test of time is God's money, which is silver, gold, and stuff of that nature. So I'm focusing on investing more in that and creating a residual income because I know that it's already spiked up. If you look at where it was at when COVID started to where it's at now, it's extremely higher, both of them, silver and gold. And that's because the rich people are aware that the money that we use is not going to be our means of tender anymore. So it has two bonuses. It's being self-aware because, like I told you before, like when you do an exchange, right? Like if you go to, we went to Jamaica, right? Well, no, Jamaica used our money. Used our money. It was a couple other places we went, and you have to firm that exchange, right? When you come exchange, it's less or more, depending on how the quality of that person, that area that you travel at, money. Well, think about you having American money, right? But still being in America, and then now they're saying that we're switching over to this tender, and then you got a $1.2 million, right? But then when you switch it over, still in America, and didn't do anything wrong, now it's worth $500,000, and you have a stroke, right? Like you have a heart attack because you don't understand that money is changing, and they make their own rules, and now this is worth this, and they're saying this for everybody that didn't do it prior, they didn't switch their money over to something else that they do consider valuable. Because now this is literally treated like a piece of paper, and you're lucky that we're giving you anything for it. They'll talk to you like that, and it's other things that's changed that you know that they'll talk to you like that.
Right.
It was just a piece of paper. We were just acknowledging that this was money. This was $100 before. Just like we was acknowledging that this was like a level 1 drug, weed. And now everybody in the world is acting like it's people. I got friends right now still locked up for weed.
Right.
But everybody is smoking weed. They're like, so I definitely believe that they'll say this. What are you talking about? This is just a piece of paper. You be like, what are you talking about? I've been saying my whole life. Y'all been teaching me to save the banks. I got this whole thing. What are you talking about? This is fine. No, this is not money. This is money. And they'll switch it just like that whenever they choose to. So if that answers your question, I would say those are the top three.
That definitely makes sense too. And it's crazy because, watching how the market moving and everything, and you listen to like the wealthy people speak, and they all say like their bank accounts, even though they may be worth billions or millions, their bank accounts are like zero because they put all their money back into their investments. That's giving them passive income.
Yep.
And that's how you actually save your money, because if you save it in a bank, like you said, 1.2 could go to 500. But if you have a house that's worth 1.2 and the money change is worth whatever that new money is.
Exactly.
So your money is safe. And the money that you're getting off is just the past. But anyway,
yeah, absolutely, and I'm glad you co-signed on that because it really is true. That's why I deal with, and when people ask me about the bigger picture, because a lot of times I told you I call it gas money. Like you gotta get to one station to another station to another station to live financially free, like to be free on the road, so to speak. But there is a bigger picture at play with money and finance and financial, and sometimes that's above people, but literally you gotta put it in stuff that is real, and money is an illusion. And I don't want to get in that conversation, but money is truly an illusion. But brick and mortar in a house is not an illusion. You get what I'm saying? Gold and silver is not an illusion. They need it to fix things. They need it for devices for doctors. They need it for like all this stuff. Not just even currency. You get what I'm saying? We need it for shelter, right? We can look at it as an investment. We need a home for shelter. So it's always going to be that. This money is literally a piece of paper that we put a value on.
Right.
God did this other stuff. Like that's one of my jokes in real estate. God ain't coming back and creating no more land, so I think I'm in a good business. I say that a lot. You know what I mean? I heard it from somebody, but it's just anything that God has created you guys, right? So how can somebody tell you what you're doing is incorrect? Like you're putting out that energy. Right. You're creating the money. It's not about the money. What you guys are doing, what you guys are focused on, what you're locked in on, what your passion, your purpose is, you following through with that will create all the abundance you need. That's why we use the word abundance more than money. Because abundance is having all your needs taken care of. People think the money takes care of all your needs, and that's BS. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, before I even had a lot of money, there was a lot of needs that I had that was taken care of. You get what I'm saying? And I never have enough money because money doesn't solve, you know what I mean, everything. It's not about that. It's about if I help somebody, an entrepreneur, and bring them through this course, and they were on a daycare, and I call them up and say how much it costs, and they be like, Forrest, you can give me advice forever. Your kids go here for free. That's abundance. Because somebody else, they in a certain area in San Francisco, whatever the case may be, and they bills is like this for daycare. And they might got a lot of money, but they don't want to spend that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's even better than money. Abundance is better than money. So what's the second question you guys have for me?
That's real. So second question, I'm sure a lot of our followers are watching right now are either currently entrepreneurs or, you know, their goal is to become an entrepreneur. So with that being said, how would an LLC, but also since we're a 501c3, how would one go about getting grants, you know, to help jumpstart and, you know, to really get their message out there and impact as many people as possible?
Okay, that's a good question. So, as a lot of people may know that I partner up with Dr. John Porter. You look him up, he's part of, he's the executive director of the American Grant Writers Association. How that came about was I started a nonprofit. I have a 501c3. It's called Philanthropy, where we focus on kids between the ages of 13 and 18, teaching financial education skills, right? Self-development skills. So why I joined that course is because I just wanted to have an understanding of grants. That's it. Like I knew that, and one of them things where, like we talked about college, just having that certificate or something like that, because I'm going to be in this field. And also I didn't want to be taken advantage of by somebody that was writing my grants.
Right.
This doctor taught it and stuff like that. So 2 years later, you know what I mean, I was ready to open up. I asked him could he write my grants or would he be part of, you know, give me advice on a grant writing. He decided to write my grants. Then he decided to partner with me on my business because I came out and public speak for his national grant writing thing that he has. He had one in Atlanta. I flew out, I spoke to him, I had a good response and stuff like that. So I don't know everything about grants, but because of my partner, I know more than the average person.
Right.
So I do want to put that out there for him. I'm not an expert at grant writing, but I do know some tricks. So what I'll tell you is that one thing that I learned from Dr. Porter is grant writing is about consistency. So you want to think about shopping a record in the same sense. They get familiar with your name. So when you put a grant out there, whether it's city, state, or government, right? You want to go out for that grant. So say that grant is $100 million for education, right? Maybe for college students of minority. And you find this joint, you like, right up our alley. They offer $1.2 million. Don't go for the $1.2 million, you're not gonna get it. You look up the minimum, get 20,000, get 10,000. Play the odds. Go through those grants that are offering those things and play the odds and get the lowest amount. Once you're approved once, you start getting more. Okay? So then they'll have another area where it's like 4 months later. They usually have dates where you can apply for these grants. Sometimes once a year, sometimes twice a year. You go for that 10,000, go for that 20,000, get approved. You understand who's the funder and everything like that, right? They see the name again. Go Believe, nonprofit, They did what they were supposed to do with this $20,000. You know what? 40,000, 50,000. So think of it like that. That's one thing. Two, another tip that I can get you, another secret that you kind of told me is like go through a subsidiary. So for example, I know Penn Hospital. It's something, I think it's a Philadelphia Penn, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we can look it up. But it's a foundation that already gets like a certain amount of money. Like they tied in, right? And you look at those individuals, go to them. They're already getting the 1.2 million. You know what I'm saying? So if it's a hospital, if it's a college, if it's somewhere else, and you can look up and you ask the person that you're trying to get the grant from, like who applies for this that gets a lot? You might be able to find that out or look that up, right? Go to them because they aren't able to spend a lot of money. They're just the safest person and have the best relationship with the lenders that are writing these grants out. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So you go to them, which is not the direct person that they've received the grant, but they got the grant for $1.2 million, and it was $30 million they spread all over the world. But they got $1.2 million, they in Philadelphia. They don't usually spend that. They usually have a department. It's like, all right, well, we do plays. All right, well, that's another way that we can bring out what we're trying to do. All right, you can give us a contract. We'll do these, that, and third. Then you end up getting your $50,000 from them, your $100,000 from them. So those are two things that I feel like I never knew about, and then they don't teach you in class and stuff like that that you can utilize to get grants. Now, that's the nonprofit area. For profit, he always says it's a lot harder. And then also, I'll give you another tip about nonprofits and grants. Don't call it a nonprofit. Call it a business with a purpose. because it's power in the tongue. And most people that own nonprofits, and you don't own a nonprofit, that's another thing he always corrects me on. You do not own a nonprofit. You run a nonprofit. You're a board member of a nonprofit. You're the executive director of a nonprofit. No one owns a nonprofit. So it's just a language, but just a business with a purpose. Why I harp on that is because a lot of people say nonprofit, and they're verbally saying, I'm not going to make money for this. Well, that's BS, because the NBA is a nonprofit or a business with a purpose. NFL is a nonprofit, a business with a purpose. And you see they make a lot of money, right? Think about, Salvation Army's business strategy. That's not they make profit. We literally donate things to them and they sell it back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You ever think about that? We go there and say, this is our junk. There you go. And they don't give it back to people, they price it.
Right.
And they keeps that. Right?
True.
So it just has to have a purpose behind it. It's supposed to have some type of purpose behind it. I think they say like strip clubs don't have a purpose, right? But I guess to keep a lot of married men, back at home, right? Or something, I don't know. But they say all types of stuff. But it's just like, you don't have to have it say non-money, non-profit, like you're not going to benefit of it. It really just has to have some type of heart to it. You get what I'm saying? So, and then some of them are so good at it that, and you guys genuinely care, like that's why I had to learn, like I genuinely care about what I'm doing. Some of them do it because of the tax implications that you can get and all that stuff like that, so it's just like, all right, let's make up something, because one kind of helps the other. The for-profit has the non-profit. So a non-profit can own a for-profit, but a for-profit can't own a non-profit. So that's another catch. So those are a couple of jewels that I got for grant writing. Like I said, I don't actually do it. I have things that he wrote for me that I have that looks beautiful and all that stuff like that, but I have learned a lot from being around here. So, and I know that the 3 or I think 4 things I told you guys can take everybody a long way, because this is not something that usually is on YouTube. It's really came from like the guru of doing these type of things.
Absolutely. Appreciate that, man.
Absolutely. So look, man, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time. This is Financial Freedom Fighter. These guys are fighting the good fight. They're out here every day, just like you guys, trying to make it happen, doing what they need to do, having success, having failures, never giving up, enlightening people on the way, bringing value, and that's what entrepreneurs is about. We are out here to solve problems, and I'm glad that you guys are out here, man. I've learned stuff through this conversation as well.
Same.
I've been inspired through this conversation as well. Some of the tip points that you guys made, some of the sayings that you guys have, some of the things that you've overcome. So I want to encourage you guys to keep going. If you guys need me, I'm around, and I want you guys to keep looking these guys up. Let them know where they can find you guys at, actually.
Absolutely. So you can go to our website for our nonprofit at gobelieveculture.org.
Our business with a purpose.
Our business
Here we
with
go.
a purpose.
Here we go.
Quick learner. And also our apparel site, you can go to gobelieveculture.com. All right, one is .org for the business with a purpose.
Yeah.
And then our apparel page is gobelieveculture.com. For new music to know, the music group, and along with myself, Gobana, we will be dropping new music. Stay tuned to musicofthecovenant.com for that. And
You can get that apparel there.
absolutely. And also, you can follow me personally. I'm most active on Instagram at Gobana, Gobbana. And also feel free to Google me. I'm very excited that I'm finally on Google and Dolce & Gabbana doesn't pop up anymore. So,
And you can find me at Go Believe Culture on IG, or my personal brand page at Mr. Residuals. That's on everything. And Khalil Jackson is on my Facebook. And then you have Mr. Sinquay over here at.
And you can find me and my group. That's my group. They're not here right now, but you can find our group page is Toonow, TOOKNOW 2 underscores.
And
On Instagram.
at Music of the Covenant on IG too. You can find them.
and we do have music out there on Pandora, well, definitely Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music, all of that. So look up Toonow, TOOKNOW, and of course look me up as well, GOBBANA. And you might be seeing my man Forbes soon up there too.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
I like to get in where I fit in.
Hey,
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, you know, I ain't gonna say too much.
But we appreciate you guys. I am Forrest. We're signing off, and you guys be great. Right. Yeah.
We flip property. Yeah,